Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Jadon Sancho is up for sale. Borussia Dortmund's CEO reveals that the club will discuss exceptional offers for the winger. Now it recently said, we believe we can get Jadon Sancho for the cut price fee of around £50 million. Earlier on this season, it says we was preparing to put a £50 million bid in. Now, Sancho has visited our Carrington training ground quite a few times. Reflecting on that, that's fueled speculation up. Earlier on this season, it said we paused our transfer pursuit of Sancho due to the progress of Mason Greenwood. Earlier on this season, he made an admission saying that he has endured a difficult season at Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund's CEO did say earlier on this season that Sancho, Halland and more Dortmund stars could be sold in the summer to avoid financial crisis. Last summer, Sancho was our number one priority target. But the main explanation we didn't get him is because Borussia Dortmund's valuation was £108 million and we was reluctant to meet their £108 million valuation. But last summer it said that the personal terms had been agreed, the agent fees had been agreed and even a contract had been agreed. Dortmund said to us last summer that we had until the 10th of August to sign the player. We missed out on that deadline, so Sancho remained at Dortmund. And Fabrizio Romano, he's spoken a lot about the Sancho saga, and so too has Bild's Christian Falk. Apparently Sancho's could be missing both legs against Manchester City in the Champions League. But analysing the vast majority of his career at Dortmund, he's been very consistent. This is his fourth season at Dortmund. He's got a contract with them until 2023. Dortmund paid just £8 million for him from Man City back in 2017. Yeah, he did enjoy a couple of years at Man City, but he never got assured any first-team opportunities at Man City, so that's why he left them. And before City, he was at Watford. He was at Watford from the age of 7 to the age of 14. So that's the news on Jadon Sancho. Now, I want to give you some news on Erling Halland. So Borussia Dortmund's CEO has come out and said that Dortmund are planning next season with Erling Halland. So what they mean in that aspect is that he won't be sold in this year's summer transfer window. But I think Halland is the one for Manchester United. I'd take him over Jadon Sancho. Now, we recently declined to meet Erling Haaland's agent, Mini Oriola, over discussing a possible deal for Halland. Mini Oriola and Erling Haaland's father recently flown to England and held talks with several Premier League clubs. Mini Oriola and Halland have also held talks with Barcelona and Real Madrid. There's been so many clubs in for Erling Haaland. Said a few weeks ago that Dortmund had revealed their asking price. It was 154 million. Dortmund are going to find it extremely difficult to sell Halland if they are demanding that much. I said there's a good chance he'll leave in the summer transfer window, especially if Dortmund fail to qualify for the Champions League. Erling Haaland's father, Alf Hinch Haaland, has spoken about his son's career and his prospects. And he's spoken about his son's transfer links to Man United before. Now, in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference prior to the game against Brighton, he played down talks of Manchester United chasing Erling Haaland, and he says he'll make his own mind up. Now, there was narratives coming out the other week saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer kept calling Erling Haaland to persuade him to join Manchester United. Solskjaer said earlier on this season he was following Erling Haaland's progress and he's keeping in touch with the player. Solskjaer's worked with Haaland. He gave him his debut at Molde at just the age of 16. And back in December 2019, Solskjaer and Woodward went to Norway to meet up with Halland to negotiate a possible move to Man United. Erling Haaland does have a £68 million release clause, but it doesn't become active until next year. Haaland has been at Dortmund over the year. Dortmund paid around £17 million for him, and he's got a contract with Dortmund till 2024. He recently said Haaland was demanding £600,000 a week from his next club. Now, I want to delve into some more news on David De Gea. Now, Manchester United will pay David De Gea millions to leave in the summer transfer window. Yeah, it's recently said that we are set to pay off his huge contract. David De Gea is set to leave Manchester United at the end of the season. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's relationship with De Gea has become a problem. We've set the price for De Gea. We want £50 million. I reckon De Gea has now had his years at Manchester United. You know, he's been at the club now almost 10 years. He's made over 500 appearances in all competitions. He's been our number one for a long time. He's won everything domestically at the football club. A few years ago, he was regarded as the best goalkeeper in the world, but in the last couple of years, he's made calamitous mistakes, so reflecting on that, he has become a liability. De Gea has like 2 years left on his current contract, and he's on £375,000 a week, which is a substantial amount. I think there's a good chance he'll go back to Spain, De Gea. Main explanations is because he was born in Spain, his relatives are from Spain, his girlfriend's from Spain, he began his footballing career in Spain, and back in 2015 he was very close to joining Real Madrid, but due to a fax machine on deadline day, the deal never materialised. I think now Dean Henderson is our number one, because Dean Henderson has started our last 7 games in a row. And he's done very, very well, Henderson, because he's kept a lot of clean sheets. In a lot of the games, his distribution's been good. He's made good saves. He's made good aerial claims. But I said, didn't I, he's reliable enough now to become our number one, because he has got that experience behind him. He did endure 2 successful loans with Sheffield United, and before the start of this season, he signed a 6-year contract with Man United. But this year's summer transfer window is huge for Manchester United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It really is. I'm expecting us to make around 3 or 4 signings in the summer transfer window. I've already identified the areas where Man United need to strengthen up. I think we need a striker, we need a right winger, we need a defensive midfielder, and we also need a centre half. I reckon Solskjaer needs around £200 million if he's to get the players he wants to recommend in. Now, Solskjaer should get the backing he deserves in the summer transfer window, because Woodward has come out and said that he believes Solskjaer is the right man to lead the club forward. He released a statement earlier on this season saying that the progress by Solskjaer and the players this season is clear. So in that aspect, Woodward is backing him, and in general, Woodward has come out several times to show his support for Ole, even when we was enduring them really bad periods. Our board have a soft stance on Solskjaer, with him being a club legend. And obviously we've got John Murtaugh. He's our director of football, and he knows the club inside out. And Darren Fletcher, he's our technical director, and he also knows the club inside out. The summer transfer window will be Ole's 5th transfer window as permanent Man United manager. So far, he has endured 4 transfer windows at the club, and he's spent almost £300 million. I can assure that Solskjaer will be Manchester United manager in the summer transfer window, and he'll be Man United manager next season. I said he does deserve another season. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer needs to win a trophy at Manchester United, because that would mark progress. And we've seen progress under Ole in certain aspects. The Europa League is our only chance of winning any silverware this season. You know, if we fail to win the Europa League this season, that'll be exactly 4 years without a trophy. And Solskjaer's not yet won a trophy as Man United manager. But he's not getting sacked even if we fail to win the Europa League. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has agreed a new 3-year contract worth £30 million. Sources at Old Trafford did say a few weeks ago that talks were set to begin any day on the new deal, because Ole is now into the final year of his current 3-year contract. Yeah, a lot of United fans disagree with us giving him a new contract. You know, does he deserve a new contract? In some aspects, yeah. In some aspects, no. I can assure he won't see it out, because he isn't the long-term manager for Manchester United. You know, there has been a lot of United fans demanding Ole Solskjaer out of the club. They've obviously got main explanations why they want him out. But I still believe that there's some Man United fans that want Solskjaer in, and they believe he needs more time at Manchester United. I can assure that we will finish in the top 4 this season. There's a good chance we'll finish second, but a second place finish isn't good enough without the Europa League. We are going to sell players in the summer transfer window, so in that aspect, that'll help us with our rebuilding process, because we'll generate money. Now, the players that I think are going to leave Man United in the summer transfer window is Edison Cavani. Footballer Insider recently said that Cavani is willing to take a pay cut to join Boca Juniors, and he already has a verbal agreement with Boca Juniors. Now, it said not so long ago that we held showdown talks with Edison Cavani over his future at the club, and we want to convince him to stay. Now, Edison Cavani's contract expires at the end of the season, but we do have an option to trigger his contract for a further year. The Uruguay coach not so long ago urged Edison Cavani to leave. Solskjaer said earlier on this season that he's hopeful that Cavani will stay at Man United and sign a new contract, because we've been in contract discussions with him. But all he did say as well earlier on this season that he was closer to Boca Juniors than staying at Man United. And his father came out and said that Edison Cavani's unhappy and he's not comfortable in England and he wants to leave. Prior to that, reports from Argentina said that Cavani's decided to leave Man United after one season. Cavani's sustained a few injuries at Man United, but I think he's made an impact since he's come in. There's been a couple of games, though, where he hasn't got enough service and he's looked isolated. He certainly looked isolated against Brighton. We got him on a free transfer last summer. He signed a one-year contract with Man United with an option of a second year. A lot of United fans are saying that we need to sell Anthony Martial in the summer. Martial has been out of form for the vast majority of this season. He's had chances, but he hasn't converted them. Earlier on this season, Solskjaer backed Martial to rediscover his form. And he said he has been impressed with his work rate. Martial's out with injury at the moment. Solskjaer said he's going to be out for the rest of the season. I think Martial's had two good seasons at Man United. He was good last season and he was good in his debut season under Van Gaal. Martial has been at the club now over 5 years. We got him in a deal worth 54 million from Monaco. I think it was last season Solskjaer gave him that number 9 shirt. But yeah, if we did sell him in the summer transfer window, I reckon we'll get around £30 million. Juan Mata looks like he's on his way out of the club in the summer. Juan Mata's current contract expires in June, but there is an option to trigger his contract for a further year. He doesn't get in our team now. And towards the start of this season, he rejected an $18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. Matt has been at the club now almost 7 years. He's made over 200 appearances in all competitions and he's scored 50 goals. And we got him in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2014. Donny van der Beek, I think there's a good chance that he's going to leave the club in the summer transfer. And I think he needs to leave. The main explanation is because he's not getting enough opportunities at Manchester United. Now, he recently said we are considering a Donny van der Beek swap deal. 2 Sport did say that we are willing to offer Donny van der Beek to Juventus in exchange for Adrian Rabiot. Now, not so long ago, Mark Hughes was talking about Donny van der Beek, saying that he feels lost at Manchester United and is edging closer to a Man United exit. Ronald de Boer has backed Donny van der Beek to be a success at Old Trafford. Not so long ago, it says that Donny van der Beek still feels loved at the club, despite his lack of game time. And there was narratives coming out earlier on this season saying that Donny van der Beek has threatened to quit Man United after one season due to his lack of game time. And he wanted to hold showdown talks with Ed Woodward over his future. Yeah, most of his appearances have come from the bench. He's only started 2 games in the league this season. Solskjaer made an admission earlier on this season regarding Van der Beek. He said he's unhappy due to his lack of game time, but he said he's promised him more game time at Manchester United. And ESPN said back in January that we rejected several loan offers for Van der Beek because we was reluctant to let him go. We got him in a deal worth 40 million and he's versatile. He can play in 3 different roles. Nemanja Matic, I think there's a good chance we'll offload him because he isn't one of our first choice midfielders. Matic has been at the club almost 4 years. We got him in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. I think we made a mistake by giving him that new 3-year contract before the start of this season. But he's always been a slow player and that's why I've always had my strong reservations about him, and plus he's ageing up. Paul Pogba. Now he could still be leaving Man United in the summer transfer window. there again, we could keep him potentially past the summer. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer recently said that Paul Pogba's future lies at Manchester United, and there was narratives coming out saying that Paul Pogba could be set to sign a new contract and he's not making a return to Juventus because apparently Juventus have told Mini Oriola, Pogba's agent, that they cannot afford Paul Pogba. Now, Juventus have obviously been keen on a Paul Pogba swap deal, and it recently said that Juventus were willing to offer us Paulo Dybala in exchange for Paul Pogba, and Fabrizio Romano mentioned that Juventus are refusing to give up on re-signing him. Pogba endured 4 exceptional years with Juventus before he rejoined Manchester United, didn't he? Pogba's been linked to a move to Real Madrid before, and he's also been linked to a move to PSG. Now, it said not so long ago that Paul Pogba still wants to quit Man United. He's rejected a new contract. Damasio said not so long ago that Pogba's got no intentions of extending his contract at Manchester United and his preferred destination is Juventus. Now, earlier on this season, we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract, so he's under contract with Man United until June 2022. So if he stays potentially past the summer of this year, there's a good chance he'll go on a free next year, unless he signs a new contract. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said earlier on this season he wants Paul Pogba to stay and he hopes he signs a new contract, and we have been in negotiations with Paul Pogba over a new contract. We have been getting the best out of him in recent months. You know, he started against Brighton. That was his first start in the league for over 2 months. But he brings creativity to the team, does Pogba. I like him on that left wing, in more of an advanced role. I'm not too keen on him in a deeper role. He was playing in a deeper role against Brighton. He can still play well there, though, to be fair. But Pogba was out with a thigh injury for a while. First part of this season, he was out with an ankle injury. And he was out for the vast majority of last season with an ankle injury. So, sustained a few injuries now. As it stands at the moment, is our most expensive signing because we paid £89 million for him. And this is Paul Pogba's 5th season at the football club since he rejoined. Jones, I'm also expecting him to leave. Jones is the only outfield player that's still here from the Sir Alex Ferguson era. This is Jones' 10th season at Man United, so he's been a long servant. Jones has always been inconsistent and he's been out of injury for over a year. Axel Tuanzebe, we could offload him because he doesn't get in our 11. Romero, I'm expecting us to offload him. Diego Dalot, I think we'll be looking to get rid of him permanently. Will we get rid of Eric Bay? Now, it recently said that we want just £17 million for Eric Bay to let him leave for Inter Milan. As far as I'm aware, contract talks for Eric Bay have been put on hold because he wants assurances over his playing time. He has actually lost his place in the team. Bay's got coronavirus, by the way, Solskjaer confirmed that. Bay, not so long ago, apologised to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Man United for his disrespectful behaviour because it said that Bay was furious with Solskjaer because he felt disrespected and not wanted by him. And Bay said he believes we're only offering him a new contract to simply increase his asking price. Bay's got like 15 months left on his current contract. Yeah, there's also players that will stay in the summer transfer window, and there's quite a few players at Man United that have got long-term futures at the club. Dean Henderson, he'll stay. I think he's going to be here long-term now, Dean Henderson, I really do. Luke Shaw, he's also another player that will stay. He'll be getting a new contract with Luke Shaw. He deserves one reflecting on his good performances. Luke Shaw's had a good career at Manchester United apart from his injuries. Shaw's been at the club over 6 years now. We got him in a deal worth £30 million, was it, from Southampton back in 2014. Obviously, Harry Maguire will stay. I don't know about long term though. I really don't. But he's had some good games this season as Maguire, but he's also enjoyed poor games. But Harry Maguire certainly wasn't worth the £80 million we got him for. He's the second most expensive signing at the club, and he's the most expensive centre-half in the world at the moment. Victor Lindelof, I don't think he's got a long-term future at Man United, but I think he will stay potentially past this year's summer transfer window. In a lot of the games, Lindelof and Harry Maguire have not really complemented each other, rather. I prefer Bay alongside Maguire. But in general, we need a centre-half anyway, we really do. Wan-Bissaka, he'll also stay. I think he's got a long-term future at Man United, but we've got to see more attacking intent from Wan-Bissaka, because he doesn't show enough attacking intent in enough games. There's been some games where he's showed it, and there's been other things as well where he's got into good positions and he's put good crosses into the box. Defensively, more or less, Wan-Bissaka's always been good. But when Wan-Bissaka's poor, he lacks that attacking intent, like I mentioned, and he gets caught out far too many times, and sometimes he makes mistakes. We got him in a deal worth £50 million from Palace in the summer of 2019. Scott McTominay, he'll also stay. Could be long term for Man United. McTominay's a decent player, but he's not yet at that level where I want him to be at, but he's still young and he's got a lot of development in him. Just after the first lockdown, McTominay signed a 5-year contract with a club, so he committed his future with a club, didn't he? Bruno Fernandes, obviously, he'll stay. Bruno Fernandes is our best player because he's made a difference in the team. And he's our best signing since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. Fernandes has been at Manchester United now over a year. In most of his games, he's been very consistent, but there's also been a few games where he has looked off the pace. But that's because, obviously, we've overplayed him. And Fernandes has won Player of the Month quite a few times, reflecting on his good performances. Don't forget, he did say on his 12-month anniversary back in January that he was planning on spending many years at Old Trafford. Fernandes did have an argument with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer during the Brighton match. He said he was refusing to sign a new contract earlier on this season because he wants assurances over the club's transfer plans. He said was prepared to double his wages to £200,000 a week. Predominantly plays as number 10. Greenwood, he'll also stay. I think he's got a long-term future at Man United. Greenwood's done very, very well since he broke into our first team squad. He really has. And he scored against Brighton, obviously scored the winning goal. I think we should put him as a number 9. A few times we've played him centrally, but a few times we've played him on the right wing. Marcus Rashford, he'll also stay as well. Rashford's actually out with injury again because he came off in the game against Brighton. Rashford's become injury prone. He's sustained quite a few injuries now. I just think we need to keep Marcus Rashford out on the left wing because that's where he's more effective. Mad Diallo Traore will also keep him as well. So there's a lot of players that we are going to keep potentially past the summer. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, like I say, he's been Manchester United manager over 2 years now. And reflecting now on his been with us, he has gained some managerial experience. He's tried quite a few different elements. He's learnt quite a bit on the job, which is good. But my two biggest concerns about Ole, he doesn't have a proven pedigree as a manager, and his decision making is my other concern about Solskjaer. Man United is the third club in his managerial career. Before he was with us, he was at Molde. He won a few Norwegian titles at Molde, and they're not a big club. And before he was at Molde, he was at Cardiff, and his record at Cardiff was absolutely disastrous. He managed a Man United reserve team for a couple of years, so he did watch some of this team grow and develop. The main explanation Ollie's still Man United manager is because he's a club legend. That's what's basically saved him. But I think Ollie's in a position he shouldn't be really in. And Solskjaer knew when he'd taken over at Man United it was going to be a massive, massive job, despite him knowing the club through thick and thin. This is his second full season now. Next season will be his third full season. We've got to take quite a lot of positives, though, so far from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tenure. You know, he has made some good signings. He's got rid of a lot of players since he's come in. You know, he did well last season in his first full season, guided us to 3 semi-finals, got us qualification for the Champions League and got us third, the second highest we finished since Ferguson. You know, this season got us to the EFL Cup semi-final, got us to the FA Cup quarter-final and winning the Europa League quarter-final. Our away record in the Premier League is good under him. You know, we are second in the Premier League. At one point, Solskjaer got us top of the Premier League. And we've enjoyed good periods under him where we have seen consistency. And I like the way Ole has promoted the youth. So yeah, they are the positives regarding Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I think he's our best manager since Ferguson. I really, really do. But even if there was talks about Ole getting sacked now, you know, wouldn't be able to sack him now anyway, because as far as I'm aware at the moment, there's no one available. And plus, to be honest with you, if the club decided to eventually sack him, it wouldn't really solve anything. Because nothing's changed in the last 8 years, and we've sacked 3 managers, and plus we've overpaid for players. And plus we've spent over £1 billion in the last 8 years. So there you go, it just shows you, doesn't it? So anyway guys, that's everything to update with today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.